Hello everybody, it's Christina Marie Weber and I run a company called Christian Biz Owners on Fire, and we help faith-based and spiritual business owners who want a more fulfilling and prosperous business or ministry while putting God, their purpose, and their relationships first on a daily basis. So those of you who follow us know about our monthly process. So that's where I take a question, something I've observed, something that's common to entrepreneurs based on my interactions with them and observations of them, that I think would benefit multiple entrepreneurs, and I create a educational video. So that's what I'm doing today. If you have an idea for a video topic, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn, Christina Marie Weber, or you can search for Christian Biz Owners on Fire, leave me a direct message there, or you can leave me a message on my contact page at my website, www.christianbizownersonfire.com. So today's topic is how non-ideal clients drain you. So especially in the beginning of business owners, they resist narrowing their criteria for who is and who's not their ideal clients. They think this is gonna limit their income. It's gonna close doors. It's gonna make it less likely to succeed. But these business owners often don't understand that the most successful and profitable businesses do what they do for a specific client very well repeatedly, rather than try to please everyone or do too many things. So we're going to talk about 3 ways that of why your non-ideal clients drain you. So number 1 is not having an ideal client avatar. Description of that client increases your time and money on marketing and sales while reducing your effectiveness. So basically we're talking about the difference between a pray and spray approach to marketing and sales versus one that's really zoning in to your time and dollars to where those clients actually are. So that's just going to dilute your effectiveness. There's so many different ways to market, and you only have so much time and resources. So you're just spreading yourself thin. You're making it less likely that your marketing and sales is going to hit those ideal clients. You're going to hit probably a lot of non-ideal clients. The other issue is it takes more time and persuading and effort to actually convert sales with a non-ideal client, because the fit isn't exactly right between you and that client. In fact, there was a gal who runs a pretty high-end advertising and PR firm, really works with some big organizations, and one of the things she stated is she doesn't work with an organization she has to convince to invest in advertising and PR. They're just not her ideal clients. And it saves her a ton of time because she doesn't even go after those clients. She goes after the ones that already get it, and then she can differentiate her firm with them. I had another business owner similar. She runs a business where they create swag for businesses, but real high-end, real targeted. So this isn't cheap. And again, she's not going to try to convince someone that doesn't understand the value, like the increased employee retention or the increased sales, that her specific strategy of really more high-end swag for a business creates. She's just not going to go after them. She knows who believes in that, and she spends her time getting those clients and serving those clients. So number 1 is not having an ideal client avatar increases your time and money in marketing and sales while reducing your effectiveness. Number 2, non-ideal clients are harder to please. Lower client retention because what you offered really wasn't an ideal fit with what they're looking for. And increased client retention makes your life easier because it's less work to keep a client than to go out and get a new one. I find myself when I had some they were okay clients, but they weren't exactly the right fit. I felt more anxiety to over deliver because I was trying to persuade them of my value rather than working with someone that already got my value. They understood what I'm offering, they want it, and they're willing to invest the time and money to get that. A non-ideal client impairs your referral efforts. I mean, ideally, you'd want to get referrals from the clients that you're working with. But either the non-ideal client, they really won't refer because they really weren't delighted, because it just wasn't a fit. It's not because what you do, it's just it didn't match quite what they were looking for or what they value in a provider. Or they do refer people to you, but they're more non-ideal clients. So either way, you're kind of cutting yourself off at the knees in terms of referrals. Um, so the third point is non-ideal clients take more time and energy to work with. A lot of times as you create this avatar, you may find that you include things like you want clients who show up, you want clients who follow through on the recommendations you give them, you want the clients that pay in a timely fashion, clients that clearly communicate, clients that aren't playing games or you have to chase them down. Um, Again, when those are the criteria that you plug into your ideal client, it's obvious to see how draining it is. You have one client that you're trying to chase down for appointments, or because you know they're not going to get a good result if they don't use your service or product correctly, or if they don't show up, then they're the first ones to complain about what you're offering. Many times that's what I was going to say, many times the non-ideal clients, they're the biggest complainers and the biggest time suckers in your business. I mean, I'm all about feedback. I ask my clients how I can improve my services, and I don't revamp everything just because of one comment someone makes, but I do try to take it to heart. But again, if you're getting that from a non-ideal client, sometimes you get the feeling you could turn yourself into a pretzel and this individual is just not going to be delighted or happy with that. So again, why not spend more time making your ideal clients delighted than trying to push a rock uphill with someone that doesn't is kind of hard to please. This saves you a lot of times. The other thing that I find with non-ideal clients, and again, this is kind of how you put your criteria and what is your ideal clients. A lot of times they're bigger complainers and they take less responsibility for how they're actually using your product or service. I've gone to a chiropractor recently, and I'm a pretty compliant patient because I want the result. I already believe in what he's doing. I follow his recommendations. I'm a pretty good ideal client. I do what he says. He says a lot of clients, even though they know if they just do like the exercises at home, they'd reduce their pain. They would not have to come in as often, or they would, really live a higher quality of life, but they just won't do it. And it's kind of demoralizing working with them because you can help them, but they want to come in and they want that one adjustment to fix everything. They're not going to look at their weight. They're not going to look at their lifestyle. They're not going to look at their posture, or if they're willing to do any exercises at home to strengthen their spine. Again, they're just not taking responsibility for what you're doing. Sometimes they have a real entitlement attitude that somehow just buying your product or service without using it correctly, following the procedures, doing some of the extra things recommended, it's just going to should just magically do it. It's our culture. We want the pill to fix everything, and honestly, most things aren't like that. And the pills that you get, there's side effects that people don't like. So it's interesting. The non-ideal clients take more time and energy to work with sometimes because they really don't buy into what you value. They don't value what you're offering. And it's not because what you're offering isn't of value. And I had this come up. What I really offer is I offer people to have excellent, profitable businesses in alignment with their vision and a great life at the same time. And they're not making compromises they don't want to make. Do I say they're going to be the richest person on the Fortune 500 list? No, unless that's their vision. And so when I talked with someone who the guy said, well, convince me why I should work with you. And I said, well, really everybody could use what I offer, but it's not that they don't necessarily want it. Some people don't want to grow their business in a healthy, balanced way. They want to grow it fast. They want to grow it to really quickly so they can go sell it to somebody, even if that entity guts it or fires all their employees. It's not important to them. They want to make a quick buck. They want to make a big buck. That's not my ideal client. So they're willing to kind of burn their candle at both ends for 3 or 4 years, not be with their kids, or maybe not have kids, not have a good marriage, whatever they want to do, because this other thing's more important. They're not my ideal clients. That's not what I want to help people do, and I don't even know how to help people do that because I don't want to do that, and I would be clueless of how to show someone how to do that correctly. So again, just to review, the not having ideal clients, it drains your marketing and sales time and your effectiveness. It makes they're difficult, unpleasant to work with because they're harder to please. Sometimes they're not pleasable, and they take more energy and time to actually work with them once you get the clients. So to conclude, you're going to have an easier time finding, converting, pleasing, and renewing ideal clients with less time and money invested in doing so. That makes for a pleasant life. It's another part of what I try to do with people. Let's have a business you like working every day. Not that you're just dying to get out and sell it. Not that that can't be the goal, to eventually sell it, but let's enjoy the journey. This saves you time and money, and that's what allows you to have a greater profit that you can either reinvest in your business to create an even better product or service, or you can invest in yourself, have a little more wiggle room, be a little more rested, more well-read, more Renaissance person, so you actually come to your clients with more to offer them. So let's just take a step back. That's great. Now you're convinced. Yeah, okay, I want to just work with ideal clients. Well, it's a little easier said than done. You need to know what your vision is. Sometimes it's hard to even know what your ideal client is if you don't really know what your vision is. What kind of business do you want to have? What kind of how much time do you want to spend there? What do you personally want to be doing? What do you not want to be doing? What's the problem you want to solve? There's so much to it, but it all gets back to, do you know where you're going? I mean, there's so many decisions that flow from that, and one of them is to figure out what your ideal client is. If you don't really know, you're just flying by the seat of the pants and just going with the flow and not really clear on, are you jazzed about where you're going? That's where all those other questions that you need to answer in your business, including who's your ideal client and how to find them, they come from that. So if you're interested in getting serious about what your vision is, your holistic vision, set up a Manifesting Your Vision session with me. It's a paid service I have. You can schedule an appointment at talkwithchristina.com. talkwithchristina.com. Thanks.